Hi, my name's Matt and I'm building a Sopwith Camel. I'm in the parts making process at the moment, currently making trailing edge clips for the wings. So this video is around what I've done with the 6061 aluminium and getting the improvements that I've gotten to. I've actually got some good clips now, quite pleased about that. However, spoiler alert, I've now decided that I want a different type of metal. I'm going for a 2024 T3, which is a heat treated metal to start with, as opposed to the 6061, which is annealed, which has caused me a few issues. Nothing insurmountable, but I'm biting the bullet. So this video is about the process to get to this point now where I'm about to buy different metal and restart. I've been busy the last few months, but things are starting to slow down a bit. I've got back on most of my jobs under control, and today I popped out to the airfield and got a hand from some guys to cut me out blanks for these, and these are clips for the end of wing ribs. This is a wide box rib, so pretty much got these cut out on a guillotine. Earlier ones, I may have shown an earlier video, cut out by using a sharp knife and basically cut them till I could break them apart, which works, but it's quite long and slow, as you can imagine. So yeah, so I've got a whole bunch of these stamped out, or cut out, guillotined out, whatever you want to call it, and I'm right now just going to go through and mark them using an existing one as a template, with the holes already drilled in it, over top, and just marking them out where the holes need to go for these. So right now I've got plenty of these to slowly work through. I'll mark them all up tonight, and I'll probably drill them out tomorrow night. Then after that it's into radiusing the corners, so taking those down. The ones I've cut out using sharp knife, increasing, the edges on these are fairly rough. You can feel them to the finger, to the touch. So I've been using this to sand those down. What I found today was using the guillotine, nice and smooth edges. I like that. So other advantage of using the guillotine, saves work elsewhere as well. So, but in the meantime, I've got loads I've got already cut out, so I might as well sand those down as well. Right, I think I've got these clips kind of sorted out. I've done most of the box rib clips, which are these ones. So they go around the trailing edge and hold in place onto the rib. That's the container for them. I need 28, I've got nearly 40 in total, mostly because I changed the way I was doing it. So this is one of the ones I had I guillotined, went and borrowed a guillotine and used that. The edges came out a lot smoother and they tied it up a lot faster. I then used an existing one to mark out where I wanted the screw holes and drilled those out, and then went to the belt sander, the linisher, and just took off the edges. Whereas before I was marking the edges and trying to cut them to the mark, it's like it just worked out so much quicker. And the final thing which made a difference was getting some 320 grit sandpaper, which isn't something I normally hold because I'm normally working with wood, not metal. And that made a real nice difference to the edges. These edges are silky smooth now. Yeah, lovely to touch. So that's as far as I'm going to take it. These are 3 sheets of aluminium that I've marked up with Indian ink. I've cut 3 sides using the score method. Not this one, although I could see I've previously marked up that side to be cut, that score line. I'll now guillotine that, then use that as my flat edge. And currently what I'm doing is I've got a set of calipers, which I've set to 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just going through and just walking them along, just marking the 3/8 of an inch mark. Notice I've bought that's not 3/8 of an inch. I'll use that as a square cut, so it'll square off that side, which means everything else after that should be square. So there it goes. So I'm going to mark up these 3 sheets, and these will be the A2062 3/8 of an inch ones. I need 64 of them, and I've got about half of those already, and I'll probably get more than that from what I've got marked up here. This is a control rib clip. I've marked off the 4 screw holes, just using the first ink pen, and then using calipers to mark off the holes. So I've done that. Now I'm going to use a nail just to hole punch them. not hole punch them, but create a dent for the drill to be guided into. I tried using proper denting tools, God knows what you call them, previously, but it actually deformed the aluminium. So I'm hoping to put a softer dent in it and just enough to guide the drill properly. Well, I popped out to the airfield on the weekend and used the guillotine to cut out a lot more clip blanks. By a lot more, I mean quite a few more. There's about 70 odd in there. Allows for a few to get ruined. Plenty in there, plenty there. These ones are all done. These are the wide ones, which you saw me doing earlier. So they're all finished as far as they're going to go. And I've drilled holes in all of these, and all of them. And these ones I've started rounding off the corners using the lineager. So I'll carry on with that, and I'll video some of that as well. In the process of drilling holes, I've just come to the conclusion that my eyes are not accurate enough. Like, I can mark the centre of the strip, but actually getting the nail punch that I'm using to get on the mark that I want, I'm not convinced I'm doing that well. So I've ordered what they call an optical centre punch off Amazon. So that'll probably arrive in about a week or so's time. In the meantime, I just carried on and did the best I could from that. The ones you can see there are all pretty good, and the ones that weren't are now my bucket's a little bit, hasn't quite covered the bottom, but there's quite a few on there. What I also picked up was some 2024 T3, which is pretty standard aircraft aluminium, and this is out of a triangle in the scrap pile that was there. So I blagged a couple of these, and these are going to be used for those wing riblets. And I marked this one out on Sunday just because I wanted to have a bit of a play with it. So I drilled holes in the corners there just to reef the corners, because they're going to be bent on that black line. And I don't know if you can tell, and I've tried restraightening this so it's not as bad as it was, but the first initial bend I did not bend on that flat line, on that black line. So this is kind of a failed attempt, and what I used was two pieces of ply, clamped around there, lots of clamps on it, but what ended up happening was, as I was bending it over, this was moving out of the clamp, which caused the bend in the middle as opposed to where I wanted it. I've seen examples of people doing this on the web, and typically they use bigger molds, screws going through the metal, lots of stuff to try and keep everything still, and apparently things moving around is one of the problems. So yeah, so that was attempt A. Attempt B, I'm going to use this second piece here, and what I'm going to do is I've ordered a bench vise, because I haven't actually got one here. I could do with one anyway, and press brakes to fit in the bench vise that actually arrived this afternoon. That's that box there, fairly heavy little thing, not surprising given it's got a bench vise in it. But the bench vise with some clamps, press brake clamps. I should be lining up on these black lines that I've got, and that should then create the bend exactly where I want it. So I'll create it flat using this one. It's got a slight bend to it, but ignore that for a moment. So I'll create it flat with the U's to out, say 60 degrees, so they've got room to move as I then bend it to this curve. And what I can then do after that, and this is about the right width for what I want for the inside of it, I can then fit that inside there, and then very gently, hopefully, love tap the sides down to fit. Just finished another day in the shed doing projects. Every day in the shed's a good day. Just a quick flash at the projects I'm working on. So just some furniture. A storage unit for childcare centre, and a child-sized table which needs its top revarnished. So yeah, so but back on the aircraft stuff. I was working on my various parts last night, getting stuck into these ones, deburring holes mostly and taking the protective film off. And just reflecting on what one of the guys said at the airfield on Saturday, around the process of heat treating the stuff. And he described it as heating it, then quenching it, and then it needs re-straightening back out again. Apparently it goes a bit crazy. And his view was better off making it out of T24 T3, which is the heat treated version coming straight out of the factory, and just be done with it. And I thought, well, yes, I could do that, but there again, I've already got this metal, I've already started work on it, I've invested some time in it. But reflecting on that last night as I was deburring these things, and these as well, and all the rest of it, and I'm thinking, well, I'm actually partway through a shed load of them, and there's still quite a bit more work to do, and it'd be quite gutting to think that I'm doing all this work and end up changing my mind later. So I've bitten the bullet, and I think I've sourced some T24 T3. I think I've sourced that. I'm in the process of buying it, and hopefully that'll be here within a week. Then I'll restart the process of chopping these out using guillotine, drilling them, etc, etc. On the plus side, I now know how to make these, so this should progress relatively quickly, give or take the hours of actual work involved. Yeah, and they'll be made out of the right material, all that sort of stuff. In addition, I've been looking at let's flip this around. In addition, I've been looking at those riblets and making those out of 2024 as well, which is kind of the stand-in for Duralum, which is what they made them back in the day. And I found there's nothing detailed around the bend radius on these riblets. So they shape into a U, and there's a U shape going all the way from the front spar all the way to the nose. And there's nothing about the bend radius used for this U. The drawing's inconclusive. It doesn't show a right angle bend, which is good, but it doesn't show any detail whatsoever on it. While I was looking at ordering stuff for these trailing edge clips, I thought I might look at ordering stuff for the riblets as well. And while I was going through my spreadsheet of parts needed, I found there was a a tailplane riblet as well. And when I dug up the drawing for that said a turn radius of 1/32 of an inch. Well, funny enough, 1/32 of an inch is the exact same width, well, pretty close to it, as the 20 gauge aluminium, which is required. So it's clearly a one thickness radius. Now 2024 and T3 needs a 3 thickness radius in order to bend without breaking. However, a annealed 2024 will do a one thickness turn. So in effect, what this boils down to is I need a annealed 2024 for these riblets in order to get the U shape that's needed. Then after that I need to heat treat them back up to T42, I think it is. T4 is the equivalent to T3, but it's done in the recipient shop as opposed to the supplier shop. So yeah, so where I'm at the moment is I've now about to order 2 lots of 2024 aircraft aluminium. I might wind this video up about here because it's been quite a bit of time doing this and getting to this point, and it seems like a good opportunity to sort of wind it up, get something published, and then start afresh once the new lot of aluminium comes in. I've got some other stuff to play with now, like for example the vice I showed earlier. I'm expecting that optical center punch to arrive within the next week as well. That'll make life a little bit easier and get those holes a little bit more accurate. Yeah, so I think I'll end up making a better job of the second go, the second lot that I have of the first, and as they should go a bit quicker. And it's a good excuse to pop down to the airfield for another cup of tea. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a long way of getting around to all the work that I've done over the last month or two is now going into the scrap bucket, but that's okay because what I've gained out of that is a lot of learning and a lot of figuring out how to get the basics done of working with metal, and for that I'm actually quite pleased. I'm pretty confident I can knock out these trailing edge clips pretty fast now with a well, fast is relative speaking, but I should be able to knock them out relatively easy with these skills I've now acquired. Take care, thanks for watching, cheers.